So in this video, let's imagine that we've created our beautiful graph, and now we want to save this. We want to actually put it into our manuscript, our written up project, so that we can use it in our results section. What we might also want to do is to save this as a template, so if we make any additional graphs of other dependent variables or with any other projects that we do, we can easily use this format again, so we don't have to go through this whole process of changing all the different elements of the figure. Firstly, we'll save it as a template, so just right click or click on the figure, right click on it, and then come down to save as template, and you can save that as whatever you want. So I'll call it APA line graph. The important thing to do is not change the location as where you save this, because this is a specific target path that Excel is going to be able to recognize when you create a new figure. So I'm just going to indicate there. And if I was to create a new figure, if I just select some numbers, for example, and go to Insert, and then go to Recommended Charts, go to All Charts, and go to my templates, now you can see that I actually have a line graph that I can create that looks fairly similar to what I just did. And it will just take some tweaking to get it back into where it should be. So once that's done, all we're going to do now is we're going to click on our graph. I'm going to hold the Control key on my keyboard, and I'm going to click the two individual symbols. So I've selected each component that we've created. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to save as picture. Then I'm going to go and save this where I want to. So I'm going to save this in my downloads, and I'm going to call it body mass figure. I'm going to save that there, and in terms of the type of file that you want to save it as, I would recommend saving it as a tag image file format. It's not going to make a huge difference what format that you select, but I find that this one tends to preserve the quality the best. And if you do end up submitting it to a journal article, what they usually ask for is a TIFF file, this type of format. I'm going to save there. Now I'm going to go and open up Microsoft Word, our word processing document, where we would put our figure in. And I'm going to go to the Insert, Pictures, this device, and I'm just going to add the line graph like that. So just like you'd insert any other picture. And you can see now my line graph is there as an image, and I can reshape that. What you don't want to do is just copy and paste this figure straight into Excel, because what it will do is it will treat it as it's still like an active and live figure. And then if you start to shrink it down and expand it, what that might do is then start to change how all the elements on the figure sit in their individual positions. So it might mess up the formatting of your figure and squash it down. So that's why I recommend to save it as a TIFF file and then insert it as an image. So the last thing we need to do then is create a figure caption, and this is going to go below our figure. So just go click on the bottom right hand side of the figure and then press the Enter key, and then you're going to be able to create a figure caption here. So I'm going to call this figure 1 because this is the first figure in my document. If it was the second figure in my document, then I'd call it figure 2, and so on. I'm going to make figure 1 bold. And all you want to essentially do is describe what the figure is showing. And you should describe it in a way so that if this figure was extracted from the manuscript, your research project write-up, you should still be able to understand what this figure shows. So here's a rough example. Figure 1 is going to show line graph representing mean and standard deviations of body mass in the placebo versus Ozempic group over time. Because I've got some stars to denote significance, I would also say in the figure caption what that actually represents. So I'll say star denotes significantly different between conditions at that time point. And put in brackets, that's denoted or shown, evidenced with my p less than 0.05 inferential statistic. And there we go. That is a APA style figure in Microsoft Word, and that would be in your results section that shows your recorded data. I hope that's been helpful, and good luck making your own figures.